Hey guys, and welcome back to the J2 channel. And this is your match review of the two games that have taken place today. England beating Switzerland on penalties today, 5-3. And obviously you've got the Netherlands making a comeback to beat Turkey 2-1, which makes England go up against Netherlands in the semi-finals. That match will take place on Wednesday, so obviously you'll see a match review for that. But this is your match review of obviously these two games. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn those post notifications on. Of course, it's two games cramped into one video, as the England game went to extra time, it went to penalties, and by the time that game was over, the Netherlands game was in like 15 minutes. So yeah, you already know the gist. It's the same as yesterday. But yeah, at least on Tuesday and Wednesday, you'll get separate reviews for these games because they get played on separate days and it's only one game that day. Kind of annoys me that these games were played two games a day during this period, but hey, it is what it is. I can understand it maybe during the round of 16 stage, but come on, like during quarterfinals, I don't know. These are blockbuster games, although I'm not gonna lie. Overall, I think the quarterfinals were probably mid. If you was to ask me which was the best game, you're probably looking at either Spain, Germany, or even this one tonight, Netherlands, Turkey, which was solid. The other two, underwhelming, not that great. And let's start off with England, man. England won, Switzerland won. I said in my last video, or the video beforehand, when I previewed the quarterfinals, that I said, unless they make drastic changes, England, I think Switzerland will win the game. Now, England did make a drastic change. Not drastic changes, they did make one drastic change. And that was the system. Gareth Southgate, we already knew before, a couple of days even before the game had taken place, that he was going to go to a back three. Now, in my opinion at the time, I was actually for this. I was for this. I was only for this, though, if he was going to play Tony and Harry Kane up front, because I think, and Saka left wing back, possibly, because I think for the team, for the sake of the balance, I think that's a lot better. Now, he obviously had to put Konza in because Mark Gahey was missing. And obviously in the lineup, he had all the other 10 players. Trippier started again, and he started as a left wing back. Goodness me. Saka's a right wing back. Fair play to Saka, by the way. Look, even though I wasn't happy with him being there, he done his thing today. He 100% done his thing today. Definitely England's best player by a mile, in my humble opinion. I think the scrutiny he's got, I'm not going to lie. Obviously, I think I've been shameless at times about it, but overall, I think the scrutiny he's got has been a bit of a joke. He's probably been the only attacker for me that's upheld to a decent standard. Has played to a decent standard this tournament. I think Kane, for example, today, ignore that. Absolutely shocking today. Terrible, terrible performance. Foden today did absolutely nothing. And can I just say on Foden, by the way, yeah, the gas that BBC Sport, that the BBC punditry team were giving this guy, especially Micah Richards, you're an absolute disgrace. You are an absolute disgrace. This country is clutching at straws. Even when we talk about the performance in the first half, this country is starving. Oh my days. You had one side, you had a whole side of people in this country saying we were playing well. We were playing good football. This is what we want to see. That's what you want to see. Look, I don't know whether you're gassed because we've been so bad that us being piss poor is now a decent performance to you lot. But I'm sorry. The standards are on the floor as far as I'm concerned. That first half was terrible. But because we had more possession, guys, simply because we had more possession and it didn't feel like we were getting dominated in that game, that felt like a breath of fresh air for England fans. Because in all the other games, we've been dominated possession-wise, before the other team scores, etc., etc. But in this game, in the first half at least, we weren't dominated possession-wise. We had 56% possession. And all of a sudden, that's a good England performance. Oh my God, that's a lot better. This is what we've wanted to see. Really? No, it's not. That was poor. England were poor in that first half. And by the way, Switzerland were poor in that first half too. Both teams were poor. That's why maybe people are giving England too much credit. Switzerland were poor, but England were also poor. Both teams were doing next to nothing in that first half. It was a dry-ass game. Absolutely nothing's happening. Yeah, England are having all the possession in the world, but let's be honest. Every time we got a corner, or every time we could have created a chance, that was either because of Kobe Mainu, big up to him today, really, really good performance, or it was coming from Bukayo Saka, because they were the only two players that were taking the ball and being brave, trying to make something happen. So big up to those two, because Kane, Jude, Phil Foden, their man weren't taking risks. They were dropping deep so many times just to do nothing with the ball. Every time Saka got on the ball, he actually tried to do something. There are 2-3 man on him. He's trying to link up with Kobe. He's trying to take on players. He's winning corners. He's trying to get shots off. He's trying to put crosses in. Kane's performance was absolutely drastic. I'm sorry that I have to keep going back to him, because it was a shocking performance. And to typify his performance, there was a moment Saka made a really good run in behind. Good ball played in behind. He put in a really good cross, yeah? No one's in the box. I saw the replay. I looked at Kane that whole replay. I had to replay that about 3 times because I couldn't believe it. The guy had no urgency, had nothing about him to get into the box and try get on the end of a cross. The guy walked into the box. What are you doing? What are you doing? Honestly, it was a disgraceful performance from Kane today. Absolutely shocking. So big up to Saka, man, and big up to Konza as well, who had to come in for Gehi. I thought he put in a really good performance today at centre back, Konza. But other than that, majority of them were crap. Trippier, useless down that left-hand side. Absolutely useless once again. Useless. Declan Rice was actually decent today. Kobe Mino, good performance. I've already talked about Kane. Foden did nothing. And the fact that Micah Richards and those guys at BBC, Gary Lineker, calling him one of the best 10s in the world. I think I heard that. The same Rio, Lampard, gassing him up. Chill, man. The guy was terrible. But because he played in everyone's favourite position and he had a couple nice touches, they're gassing it. Nah, he did nothing. He did absolutely nothing. Right? Carl Walker. Do I need to say anything about this guy? He's absolutely washed, mate. He's washed. John Stones looks like he's lost half a yard of pace, but it was a decent performance. Jordan Pickford, with the saves at least, and we'll talk about the penalty shootout later on. But yeah, first half was dry, boring. Okay, cool, whatever. Move on to the second half, and it's a bit of the same. It's a bit of the same as the first half. Boring, dry, nothing's really happening from England's point of view. Switzerland are not really doing anything like that. They're having a couple moments, but it's not really leading to anything. So then at that point, you're seeing the performance is not good. You're seeing it still 0-0. You're seeing that we need to win this game. And everyone's screaming for substitutions at this point. Everyone is screaming for Gareth Southgate to be proactive and not reactive. Be proactive. Make the subs now whilst it's 0-0, whilst the game is still up in the air. And let's go win it. Bring on your Cole Palmers. Bring on an Eze maybe. Bring on an Ivan Toney or something like that. Or an Ollie Watkins to stretch the pitch. Because Kane's having a shocker. Gareth Southgate's not changing it at all. He's not changing it. At this point, we're near the 75th minute. Switzerland get the ball. Down the other side. They put a cross in and Bolo tapping. And you think to yourself, oh boy. Here we go. Is it over? Is it done? Are England done out? I thought we were done out after that. Because I thought, damn, he may have been too late here. He's too late. It's not like the Slovakia game where they scored early and you had loads of time. This one, there's not much time left. Luckily, we equalised 5 minutes later, and I'll get to that. But then again, it goes back to my point of Southgate. This time, he decided to be reactive, as always. Always reacting to how the game's going instead of predicting where the game could go and making subs to prevent it from going in that direction. But it is what it is. He brings on Cole Palmer. He brings on Eze. He brings on Luke Shaw for the first time. I'm not going to lie. I tweeted before the game. Excuse me. Bruv, is Luke Shaw just here for vibes? Because we're nearly at the semi-final stages, and this brother has not played a single minute yet. Like, why did he come in the first place? Why did he join the group in the first place? Why was he picked? It's honestly ridiculous. The fact that we could have been already eliminated and Luke Shaw wouldn't have picked up a minute would have been crazy. But he comes on at left centre back. Eze's at left wing back at this point, I think. Saka's at right wing back. Cole Palmer's come on to be in the 10 alongside Phil Foden. And straight away, Saka's sick of the passing for passing's sake. He cuts inside. The Swiss player's given too much time. He hits the ball, hits the post, and did it hit the post and go in? I kind of forgot, but outside the box, took a shot, went in the back of the net. Fair play to Bukayo Saka. Fair play. Somebody who's been getting a little too much criticism. I think the whole Ian Wright left back thing has sort of it's allowed people's agendas, or it's allowed people's favoritism for certain players like get in the way of realizing what's best for the team and stuff like that. And Saka, fair play to him. He shut up a lot of people with that goal. And yeah, that's what we like. That's what we love to see, man. Um, and he equalised straight away, responded straight away. And at that point, England accepted that it was going to go to extra time. Switzerland also accepted that fact. We go into extra time. Nothing's really happening. The Swiss make a couple changes. We make a couple changes. Ivan Toney comes on, of course. Trent Alexander-Arnold comes on, of course. And at this point, I was like, you know what, yeah? Before the game started, I thought to myself, with the way Southgate set this team up, and I look at the subs, I think this could go to penalties. I think this could go to penalties, and I'm not going to lie, if I was to really if somebody was putting a gun to my head, who you back in the penalty shootout, I definitely would have backed England. Trust me, I put my life on that. I'm telling you lot that right now. I would have backed England. Why? Because we actually have a lot of good penalty takers, believe it or not. Look at the penalties today. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, you've got Cole Palmer. He took the first one. He's the penalty taker for Chelsea. He's ice cold. Yeah? All of that. He don't miss pens. He puts his in the back of the net. Jude Bellingham's penalty was probably my favourite penalty, I can't lie. In terms of the way he set himself up and then the way he just put it in the net. I thought aesthetically, it was a very good penalty. I'm not going to lie. I rated this penalty a lot. Who else took a penalty? So Cole Palmer took a penalty, Jude took a penalty. I know Trent took a penalty and Ivan Toney took a penalty. Saka took a penalty. Obviously, Saka, the last time he took a penalty for England was obviously in the Euros final 3 years ago, and he obviously missed. That was a heartbreaking moment because it obviously led to a lot of racism and stuff like that. But this time he puts it in the back of the net. Nice, calm, composed. I knew he wasn't missing. Ever since that moment, he's taken on responsibility. He's ended up being Arsenal's penalty taker. And I don't think he's missed a penalty since then. I'm not going to lie. And he's taken quite a lot, So, fair play to Saka, man. Honestly, big up to him, bro. Ivan Toney's tapped. Ivan Toney's penalty technique is tapped. You have to be insane to pull off his penalty technique. The mad thing about Ivan Toney's technique is most players, when they take a penalty, what will they do? They'll put the ball down the spot. They'll take the run up and they'll look at the ball as they strike it. Right? Ivan Toney's tapped in the head. He will place that ball down, take a couple steps back, and from that point on, he doesn't even look at the ball. Most players will look at the ball, look at the goalkeeper, run towards the ball, run and look at the ball, strike it. Ivan Toney, the second he puts that ball down, he doesn't even look at it again. It's like he knows where it is, and he will look at the goalkeeper directly. And he's running. He's taking his time. And he's still looking at the goalkeeper. Do you know how risky that is? Because in order for you to pull that off, your timing has to be immaculate in terms of when you strike that ball. Because that can go wrong so easily. It's actually a joke. And yeah, he struck his in, didn't even look at the ball, put in the back of the net. What a penalty. And then Trent Alexander-Arnold finishes it off. I mean, what a pen. I kind of thought he'd miss. I'm not going to lie. I thought Trent would miss, but he didn't. Ice cold. And yeah, I can't lie. England on penalties, I'm not going to lie. Say England-Netherlands. That goes the distance and that goes to penalties. I'm 100% back in England. I'm 1,000% back in England to win on penalties. Because we just have the better penalty takers. There's Trent. There's Jude. There's Palmer. There's Saka. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, there's all these guys. There's Toney. There's Harry Kane. Ollie Watkins is taking penalties for Villa. Phil Foden. Bro, bare great penalty takers. So, yeah. That's that. For that game, this is going to be a long review, man. Jesus. Because we've got a lot to talk about in the Netherlands game. But, yeah. England go through on penalties. 5-3. Fair play to them. And big up Jordan Pickford for the save against Akanji. It was a really bad penalty from Akanji, to be fair. But Pickford goes the right way. Fair play to him. A lot of people are saying he cemented himself as the greatest England goalkeeper ever. Kind of hard to argue against it. I'm not going to lie. Even though he's not that good of a goalkeeper. But to be fair, the standard of English goalkeeping throughout the years hasn't been great. Especially on the international stage for England. There's probably been better goalkeepers that are English than Jordan Pickford. But on the international stage, I don't know how many of them have performed better than Jordan Pickford. So that is something to say, if you know what I mean. Anyway, the Netherlands game now. Netherlands, Turkey. Big up to Turkey. They gave it their all. They tried their best. They had a really good tournament. When everyone was calling them dark horses 3 years ago, they ended up flopping really hard and finished bottom of their group. They've ended up making up for that by getting themselves to the quarterfinals of the Euros and having a really good tournament, having standout players. Their left wing back's been brilliant. Arda Güler, absolutely fantastic. There's a 19-year-old kid as well, who's really talented. I think he's Yilmaz. I might be wrong. Çalhanoğlu, the captain's been brilliant. Demiral, who was suspended for this game, fantastic with the 2 goals. The goalkeeper's been brilliant. These guys have been entertainers, man. They probably have goal of the tournament in Arda Güler. They probably have game of the tournament in either the Austria game or the Georgia game, which till this day is probably my favorite game of the Euro so far. And then you probably got the save of the tournament in the last moment of the Austria game as well. It's absolute madness. Turkey have been a revelation. They've been brilliant, and I look forward to seeing what they can do in the future, man. And today, yeah, Netherlands just had too much quality for them when it was really time to dig in. Netherlands just had that extra bit of quality that the Austrians just didn't have, and that's how they were able to punish Turkey. Turkey actually done really well up until that stage. They defended well, they used the ball well, they were winning fouls, they were going on the counter attack. They're a brave team that want to go forward and entertain people. Big up the Turkish people as well. I think the Turkish fans have been absolutely brilliant. There's also a lot of Turkish people that live in Germany. A lot of Turkish people live in Germany, specifically Berlin. Specifically Berlin. I heard something that outside of Turkey, Berlin has the most Turkish people in terms of population than any other city in the world that isn't in Turkey. So that's a madness. Hence why the stadium today was filled with mostly Turkish people. And if they'd gone through today, trust me, it would have been hard for England fans to have a spot in that stadium because I'm pretty sure 90% of that stadium would have been Turkish. Just like today's stadium, good 90% would have been Turkish, even though a lot of people who are obviously Dutch have come to this tournament and stuff like that. But yeah, big up to them, man. Big up the Turkish people. They've been absolutely brilliant. They gave it their all today. They scored a first good goal. I mean, Arda Güler, brilliant tournament he had, by the way. What a cross with his weaker foot. What a cross, man. What a cross. Top quality cross, man. Really, really good cross. And the centre back, I'm pretty sure, heads it in the back of the net. No chance for the keeper. The Netherlands are struggling. They've not started well. The Pie is dropping a stinker. Bearman are dropping stinkers. It's not happening for them. Ronald Koeman makes a couple changes. Wout Weghorst comes on, gives them an outlet, gives them a target man, lets the Pie have a free roll. And then eventually, Weghorst actually missed such a sitter. He like fluffed one of the easiest chances he probably had in the game, but then it led to the corner, in which it led to the goal. The Pie feeds it short. He gets the ball back, puts a really good cross in the Vrij, puts it in the back of the net. Really good header. No one's marking him. The cross was quality. He just had to redirect the ball and have power on it. And yeah, he done exactly that. Then a couple minutes later, the ball gets fed out to Dumfries. He puts it into the box. Gakpo gets, well, he doesn't get on the end of it, but he causes chaos to make sure it goes in the back of the net. It was obviously an own goal by their right back, I'm pretty sure, or their wing back, I'm sorry. And yeah, it was well deserved, probably in terms of the way the Netherlands played in the second half. A little bit more urgency. They've got to do better though if they want to get to this final. Although it's England, do they have to do better? And it's the same for England. Do England have to do better to beat the Netherlands? I'm not quite sure. That game, I'm not gonna lie. I think if we're talking 90 minutes, I think the Netherlands win. But I think if we're talking penalties, I think England win. I think England win. I'm not gonna lie. I can see a lot of those Dutch players folding under pressure, just like they did at the World Cup against Argentina. And historically, I don't think the Dutch have ever been really good at penalties over the years, based on what I know. So yeah, that's that. But yeah, they get to the semi-finals, and look, they were defending for their lives at the end. You know, players are putting their bodies on the line. Van der Ven with a really good block, De Vrij with a really good block, Van Bergen, their goalkeeper, with a really good save to deny the Turkish player. He's been really good this tournament, Van Bergen. And yeah, fair play to Holland. They get the job done. They make the comeback against a really, really good Turkish team that gave it their all, that were lit from the beginning to the end. And yeah, big up to them, man. And we have a semi-final now. We obviously talked about how Spain, France could go. I think this game here, England, Netherlands, I think it's going to be a very cagey game. With the way both have played, I don't expect it to be blockbuster. Um, I don't expect it to be open either. I'm actually interested to see who will have more possession, because I feel like both teams would be willing to give each other the ball, and I don't think they mind defending because they have good defenders. Although Netherlands defensively have been a bit shaky, but so have England for the most part, except for today, to be fair to them. So we'll see what happens. Loads of stars on show. Like I said, I think in 90 minutes I can see England losing this game. I think in the 90-minute period. But I think if it goes to penalties, I really do back England to go through on penalties. I just think it depends on substitutions, which manager is going to be proactive and not reactive, because I can't lie, we're talking about two managers here that are very reactive. It was the same today. Like Ronald Koeman, yeah, he's lucky that De Vrij scored that goal, because it was getting to the stage where like he made no subs and they were 1-0 down with like, there's not much time left, you know, and they're 1-0 down and he's not making any subs. And it's like, again, he's that type of manager. He's a reactive manager, not a proactive manager. So I can see this game. I'm not gonna lie, if I'm being honest with you, it wouldn't surprise me if it's a 0-0. I'm not gonna lie, I can see a 0-0. I can see a 0-0. Maybe a 1-1. I don't know, a set piece. It's very difficult to say what's gonna happen. But we'll see, man. Should be a cagey game, I'll say at the least. Entertaining? I don't think so. I think the other game will be entertaining in terms of the styles. I think they match Spain and France. But this one, I think their styles clash. And I don't think that's good for the sport. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, that's been your review, guys. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn those post notifications. And I'll see you guys back on Tuesday for the match review of Spain versus France. If you do see a video before then, it will be about Chelsea. I know I said that last time, but who knows? You might see something. So yeah, I'll see you guys whenever I see you guys. If not Sunday or Monday, it will definitely be Tuesday. So yeah, see you guys then for more Euros content. Peace.